Hey everyone, it's Jeff Fisher of High School Football America in the NFL Play Football studio, and this is going to be a fun little chat. I don't know, about a half hour, could go longer whenever we get together. Curtis Hendershott and we tend to talk a lot because he has a lot of passion for the flag football game, and you may or may not know if you've been following us on HSFAflag.com that Curtis, the coach, has come in and helped us out a lot with especially the NFL flag tournaments. He created the rankings. It's developed into a very beautiful friendship, and I'm glad to have Coach here. And we're going to talk a little bit about everything. I think what he does there in suburban Detroit, NFL flag. We'll get into what he's doing for us and all that good stuff. So, Curtis, thanks for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Jeff. It's good to be here today. Great weekend to do this too, because first weekend we got the two double header kickoff in Miami and Arizona with NFL flag. Um, it's 60 degrees here in Michigan today, so that's a plus as well. And then
Yeah.
and then we get to talk some football. So it's awesome to be on with you. Thanks so much for having me, man. I can't wait to talk for a few.
Yeah, well, we have 75 here in Atlanta, but we've got a freeze warning coming up tonight. So, you never know. But it is unusual for you guys to have 60 there. But first and foremost, thank you for everything that you've been doing for us to get the word out on flag. It's very, very important to Trish and myself to have somebody like you that not only knows the sport but knows how to do it professionally, and you fit into the family. So, thanks for being a part of our family, and look forward to a long and luxurious relationship through the years on this. But let's get people introduced to you a little bit deeper. You and I have not done this in a podcast form to this point. As I said, you're in suburban Detroit. I'd love for you to could have put on your ambassador hat there for the community and how flag fits into it and exactly what you're doing there and how long you've been doing it.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, so flag is obviously, as you said, probably my second life to my family. But right out of COVID, I think, as we were all looking for stuff to do, I had signed up my son, and I think that's how we all kind of get started in this.
Yep.
Um, I had just gone online and I was searching for football, flag football in the area, and I had stumbled across the Michigan flag football, or I think it was NFL flag Michigan at the time, or something like that. Um, and we just submitted it in, and on the sign up form it says, "Hey, volunteer to coach," or "Would you like to volunteer to coach?" And me being me, I just said, "Yeah, why not? I don't know anything about it. What the hell could the harm be?" So we get into the first season, and I start realizing, oh my gosh, this is something else. And my son had such a fun time doing it that all of a sudden we're in. We do season two, and I don't know if you know. Here they do about 5 seasons per year, so you can do
Yeah, you
fall,
educated me on that.
winter,
It's year round.
midwinter, yeah, so year round. So we jump in, and man, coaching just took off. We didn't stop. I mean, so now we're 29 seasons in with just the one team with my son. We've included a couple other teams in our program. My program has become from just the NFL flag team that we were assigned to now a multi-level tournament program called the Macomb Rampage. I have a team full of 10U, 12U, and 11 UAA players, of just competitive players. So we really started at nothing, just a fly in the wind, and then we've really grown into a program that has really blossomed into something special, and it's been a really fun time. So now we're addicted, man, and we're into it. And when
Well, I
you're
love
into
it.
it, you better be all the way into it.
And you are, as I said at the top, you do our rank. You've thrown out stuff to me that I was like, oh, well, I'm the guy's volunteering here, just like he's a volunteer coach, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, Jeff, can I do this? Hey, what, like, and I'm the type of person, once I find out that your quality is like, hey, do what you want, because that's how I did it in the business, right? You kind of get your enthusiasm just kind of driving you, and it's not work, it's pleasure, and it's why in my case God put me on this earth to do that. So before we started rolling the tape, and I know I love saying that because it shows how darn old I am. This is not tape, this is digital or some form of something. But
It,
anyway, my point is, before we started recording this, I just said, how's it going? And I know know you've been really, really busy. So things are booming right now, your numbers and just stuff like that. Why is that happening now? All of the teams are at different levels, the NFL teams, as far as, rolling it out in their communities. And I think Detroit's been, maybe not right at the start, but, a pretty early adopter and all that. So why are you booming at this point?
Well, I truly believe that when everything switched into, I think coming out of COVID really helped. I'm not going to pat anybody on the back too much because I think that helped everybody that was trying something new to get out. But it in my area, there are different levels. You can do I-9, you can do NFL flag, and the NFL badge attached to it was huge. I think that that was a huge jumping off point for the kids to get in there. You get the NFL flag jerseys like you see behind me. They get the belts. They feel like they're a part of a
Yeah.
professional organization. Then you start seeing it on TV. You start seeing it implemented into the Pro Bowl games. You start seeing it implemented in the Olympics. You start seeing it televised as the women's program becomes humongous. And I think that as it started to really get in front of everybody, that it just started to explode. Now that RCX and the NFL flag have on their third year of doing the NFL flag championships, it's now a national level. It's now nationally known. It's become the coveted championship to win at the NFL flag level for the even age groups. So I think that, there's a conglomeration of a lot of things that have done it, but we just happen to be in the middle of the biggest booming sport at the right time. And sometimes I believe it's just happenstance, and I think that a lot of it was luck, but it's supported by the right people. And when NFL put badge on something and you get organizations involved that are serious, this is what can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's talk. And I was going to say boys versus girls, but I don't mean it from that standpoint. But obviously, on the high school level, right, we've been covering a whole lot of sanctioning, state championships, and all that. But talk a little bit about boys and girls at the level you're at now, the 10U, the 12U, maybe even younger than that. Well, what are you seeing there as far as enthusiasm and participation number?
Well, well, the girls getting involved is astronomical. It's nowhere near where the boys are in our area.
Okay.
However, there are specific leagues in the Detroit metro area. Romeo has a league that is girls only. So they've taken a group of the girls, getting the girls involved in playing together. There are girls in every single one of the co-ed leagues as well. I know that Great Lakes Flag Football, Sean Elliott, who we've talked about before, he has a girls program over there. They have a terrific girls program that I believe is competing very, very well in some of these national tournaments. But when it's the younger girls, what I'm seeing is that it's taking longer for the 8U, 10U, and you do see it even in the NFL flag championships. You see they don't have an 8U girls division.
Hmm.
So I think this might be happening everywhere, but locally I do see that it's growing fast. It's going to get there. As you know, our high school programs went from 4 to 24 now to 61. I mean, we're really moving quick here, but I still am concerned that there's not enough of just girls playing instead of in the co-ed. I'm not against co-ed. I think it's a great thing, but I do encourage girls only leagues if they're going to develop this the way that they seem to be going toward
Hmm.
for high school level and middle school level and so on.
Okay. And then the year-round aspect, because, I'm a big proponent of multi-sport. I'm sure you are as well. Um, I guess you can look at it from two standpoints, right? If you have people that say, no, I want you to specialize in flag, yeah, you can go through whatever you said that is, 5 seasons there or whatever. But what about and this is boys and girls for both, what about if you say, well, I'm a soccer player, I'm a baseball guy. I mean, are they encouraging that, yeah, hey, because we have 5 seasons, you can kind of pick and make sure that you're focusing on other things you like, whether it's basketball or baseball or soccer or whatever.
That's absolutely correct. And I think we have even on in our program who does field a team in all 5 seasons. there's always some kids that are probably more kids than not that will play a season of baseball.
Hmm.
They'll do a season of hockey. They'll have a
Good.
season of in fact, for a lot of the boys' leagues, our flag programs around here usually team up with a tackle program. So what we want to do for the flag boys is encourage them in the fall to move to that tackle team, whatever the youth program is, for the one season that they're allowed to play tackle throughout the year. And then you can spend 4 seasons with me and do the rest when you're ready. If they're not ready for tackle, then
Hmm.
so be it. Join my fall league team because we will do that.
Got it.
But you see, even when we were doing the NFL flag tournaments for the fall, you saw a lot more high school girls teams than you did boys teams because I believe that what happens is that you don't have some of those teams playing until the spring season, which is why it's
Right.
so wonderful what they're doing, splitting these seasons from the fall and spring and allowing those people. So I think that even at the national level, it's encouraged for kids to be able to play other sports, and that's why they're doing these 32 tournaments
Yeah.
year round. So absolutely, it's encouraged.
Yeah, I think, well, my personal opinion is I would love to see, especially on the high school girls side of things right now, to kind of have its own season, if you will, like the spring, like Florida here, is just so big. They're kind of the OG of flag
Uh,
football, if you will, at the high school level, and I'd love to see that. And but there is a lot, because again, you're banging heads, with other sports, whether it's softball or soccer. So I've heard it from all different levels out there, but the reason you're hearing from all levels is because of the explosion that's going on with it. Talk about coaching. You said you got into it because that's what dads do with their kids, their sons, and all that. And so, talk a little bit about your evolution in coaching, what you've done to familiarize yourself with a game that sounded like you maybe didn't have a lot of, other than two-hand touch at Thanksgiving or whatever. Talk a little bit about that
yeah,
from your own point of view.
no, that's awesome, and I'm glad you asked. So, I'm a competitor, right? So when I started playing, or when I started coaching, and my son was playing, we we both are cut from the same cloth, and I realized, oh my gosh, this kid might be a lot like me, which is I hate losing more than I
You
like winning.
think? You think?
Yeah,
That's how it
so
works, doesn't
so
it?
then I go, okay, well, we're a pretty good team here, but I naturally what I like to do is I will study. And so immediately you get your butt whooped. And you only have to get your butt whooped one time with my kind of mentality to go, that's not happening again. And so then you just start watching and you start looking at how long, okay, some of these people have been doing this for quite some time, and holy moly, you can do that play, and okay, and then you understand the rules. And that was the biggest thing, is fully understanding the big differences between a tackle football and a flag football game. And then once you start to get all that in, and then mainly, I was so happy when they started to televise some of these tournaments, because I think that that was a pretty good secret for me, because now I'm the YouTube guy that's going down the rabbit hole going, okay, I'm going to watch We Different play. I'm going to watch KC Shockers play. I'm going to watch Jags Elite play. And so all of these programs I'm starting to, really pay attention to and go, okay, this is what kind of level you need to get to. And then you want to know how to get your butt beat again? Sign up for a tournament. Says you think you're good in the rec league, you get to a tournament, you get your butt whooped again. So everything for me is just do it, set the next bar, then there's the next bar, and just keep getting better. So for me, I don't really think there's an end until we're wearing a bunch of rings. So
Well, hey, I believe in competition. I want to have fun. Kids should have fun and all that, but winning does teach you some things that will help you on down the road in life. There's no doubt about that, right? What and so and again, we want to touch all kinds of things here. So because at this level that you're at right now, right? You do have, dads just coming in. Maybe they played tackle, maybe they didn't. Maybe they have no idea what football is. So talk about how you then, as you've become this, idiot savant that absorbs all this stuff, how do you pass along that knowledge? I know how it happens on the tackle side, right? Everybody just shares. It's one big gigantic mind. Are you of that mindset on the flag side?
That's an interesting thing to ask. So, recently we've teamed up with a local facility here, the Anchor Bay Sportsplex, which is in my area here, and we've actually started to invite teams over and teams in. So from West Michigan or from the area, we just did a scrimmage last night where we, bring in a team from another local team or a team traveling from across the state, but let's all scrimmage. I mean, we think iron sharpens iron, right? So
Right.
if we can share ideas, scrimmage together, and then you do learn from each other. No, I'm not sending you my playbook, but at the same token, I think that we can all practice together, play together, and there's not enough areas, especially in Michigan, given the weather, to be able to practice. So
Mhm.
I think that us being able to open our facility to bring in some teams to be able to practice, hopefully that is helping some teams. And what we do at the scrimmages is that we do them only in tournament level. There's no 24-minute halves. It's not a rec timed game. So even the coaches are getting some practice, and that's imperative when you switch from 24-minute halves to tournament, which is to 12-minute halves, and the game goes by faster than anything. Because as
Mhm.
you and I know, 12 minutes, that's really fast unless you're waiting for water to boil or your car to start.
I love it. Yeah, it's just amazing because, I've been around this for a long, long time, and it took me a while going back to what you said there about how to get it because it is different. It's a different, you almost have to erase from your mind what football is. And I've been joking with a lot of people. I don't know if I'm the first to say it, but I'm gonna lay claim to it. I was interviewing Izell Reese of RCX, and we were talking. He kept saying flag, 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 and it dawned on me. Now, yes, there are penalties in flag football. I know this, but I said we've
Yeah.
spent we've spent all this time in our life on the football field and tackle trying to avoid flags. Now
Correct.
it's all about flags. But anyway, just joking there with
Yeah.
that. But so as it evolves and gets bigger and gets better and all that, and let's stick with the coaching side of things now. I know the Lions have done stuff at the high school level for bringing coaches in and doing clinics and all that. I don't know, are they doing anything like that in the youth level? I just don't know, so I'm just curious if it's trickled down there yet from the NFL team.
Yeah, actually, the Detroit Lions youth football, they just released their full schedule for youth camps for the year. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to be quoted, but when I looked at it, I thought that's more than they have ever had. They're all over the state of Michigan. And then even what you just said, the coaching clinics, their coaching clinic was yesterday, the 14th, took place at Ford Field. So all of the high school coaches or youth coaches or anybody that was a coach of an organization or school was able to attend a coaching clinic yesterday put on
Great.
by the Detroit Lions. They're an absolutely great organization for youth football education, and I think that they do an excellent job. And I think it's just growing and growing and growing.
Good. That's and all the teams are doing. Like I said, some are just getting into it and all that. It's phenomenal to see the push because it's also about getting kids out there and getting them moving around and all that and getting them off the iPad. And what are the people like your age and my age, although I'm much older than you, say go out and touch a little grass. Let's go touch a
That's
little
right.
grass. Get
That's
get
right.
moving around and all that. What are some of the things that you'd like, and it's the wild, wild west. I've used that term with everybody, while you've got great organizations at it, not everybody's at the same level and all that. What are some of the things you'd like to see from a dad, from a youth coach, from a volunteer standpoint that could make the game bigger and better and healthier and more enjoyable at the level you're at currently?
Well, it starts with more coaches. We need more volunteer and serious coaches. There is a big difference. Volunteer coaches sometimes uh, don't have. It needs to be taken serious on the coaching level in order
Right.
for it to be able to grow to the level that it really needs to. Um, the other thing is, I think it's happening elsewhere, and I think that on the west side of my state, it is now happening where they have started to create some more competitive leagues to separate from the rec league teams because I think that they're understanding that at some point you're gonna, by making it a such a parity driven league, I think you're driving away some, while if it gets too competitive, you drive away others. So I think that there maybe should be some sort of division between that, especially since most of the NFL flag organizations will encourage tournament play, such as why we have 32 organizations involved in tournaments. So I think it's just more about a level playing field throughout all states and programs, and just a consistency between some of the. If you got six people directing six different programs in the state of Michigan under one belt of RCX or NFL flag or whatever have you, then they should all operate each league accordingly. It
Yeah,
shouldn't be different per operator, for instance.
agreed.
But for the most part, there's so much that is so good. And I'm sure that they recognize things too, that, when it's growing so fast, there's going to be, with fast growth comes fast problems, right? So you can tackle, no pun intended, as many as you want, at any time you want. But I get it; it's one step at a time as well. Only one thing can be the most important thing at one time. But there's definitely things that can be improved upon. But for the most part, it's a very, very well run league in our area at every level.
Good, good, good. So let's do a little switch here. Dad, family, got a job, got to earn a living, and then you decide to write me out of the blue, email me, like, "Hey, you, I like flag. Is there anything I can do to help you?" To which I say, "Well, let's talk." And like I said, I think that was last June, maybe. So we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary. Happy anniversary, a little
Yeah.
3 months early. But
Yes, sir.
what the heck? Why did you get involved? Why did you want to help us out? It still boggles my mind. Trish and I consider you a blessing to have you in the family here like this. We're hoping to evolve this into something bigger one day. But really, what kind of bonehead idea did you have to write me?
You know, it's funny because I think I ask myself that sometimes too, but I think that in reality, I think in life what we try to do is we try to figure out the people that have the same interest and mindset that we do. Um, I just don't lack the guts to tell somebody that I want to talk to them. So when I logged into your website, and again, like I said, I do research, so I'm researching anything flag football oriented and
So you were
anything
stalking
high
us.
school football. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. So then, yeah, in fact, somehow I got your email. But yeah, so at any rate, I I just wanted to be able to share when this is growing the way that it is, and with the all of the teams and all of the coaches and all of the help and all of the great organizations that we have. I felt like you were onto something with letting people know about it. I think that there's kind of been this lack of telling people about what is happening. Everybody knows that it's growing, but let's celebrate the organizations, the coaches, the teams and the programs, the parents and the players that really make this all happen, because the NFL badge can do what it's done for growth, but it's nothing without everybody that volunteers their time. Most of the coaches do not get paid to do any of this. I
Right.
You already said it. I go to work every single day of the week. I do this with you, because it's what I'm passionate about. This is what, to be quite frank, I'll go to work so that I can come do things like this, so that I have the opportunity to do things like this. So no, this is you. I'm more thankful that you read my email, accepted me in, had the conversation with me, because that takes some guts too. So I think I'm just a little bit crazy.
Yeah, well, that's okay. So am I. You can't, when you start with an idea and grow it into when your passion grows into a business, it's pretty darn cool. And like I said at the beginning, I appreciate it. Then one of the things you did, so you basically started out by, writing some stories about all the NFL tournaments and the winners and a little preview here and there, and then you get this harebrained idea. As a guy, and I have harebrained ideas like my algorithm to rank the tackle side of things. Haven't figured it out on the flag side yet, but you say, well, Jeff, I think I can do some ranking. So since again, first time we've done this, talk to the people a little bit because you got to have a thick skin. If you don't, if you've seen somebody make a comment
Yes.
on it and you can't handle that, I know you can, but if you can't, you're not in the right business of ranking teams. So talk a little bit about your rankings, how you put them together. I mean, this is not something where you just sit down and you go, "Oh, this is one, two, three, and four." I know you've got a
Ooh.
little brain power behind it. So take it away.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you asking because I will tell you that that is when I get the most interaction with people, and my favorite thing, to be quite honest with you, is I love knowing that people care about it. So that's why I'm going to continue to do it. But reality is that it does take a very long time. There's now I would be out of my mind if I tried to tell you how many numbers of teams have been involved in these tournaments. But a lot of my rankings, one, is about participation. You got to participate to get in.
Right.
And then it gets a little bit more convoluted, right? Because you have to take into account how many teams are in each of the tournaments. So you get the New York Jets, that tournament is loaded 10U through 14U to high school. So you can really get a different level of what a team is, and so a team might not even make it through that as a champion and still could hold a ranking based off of who they play. So in my algorithm, it actually probably benefits you more to win in the bracket play than to win your three tournament games to get in and score 82 points, because when you get 12 teams in a bracket, you might find out that a team goes 2-1 that should be in the bracket play, that is out because they didn't get the correct draw, right?
Hmm.
So that's why it helps when you get back into a tournament and so on and so forth. So it the points scored don't matter as much as your points against. I'll give you that as a hint.
Okay.
So if you're not allowing points, it definitely helps, but it really aligns with a lot of how the NFL flag does their tiebreakers. It is never about how many points you score. Don't give up points. It's going to help you an awful lot. And then there's different levels of talented groups in play. You and I have already discussed it. Different teams go to Green Bay that go to Kansas City. Different teams go to the
Oh, you
Jacksonville
educated me.
Jaguars tournament. So you got teams from Kansas City that aren't participating in the Kansas City tournament because they're going to go to a different region to be in the North region in Detroit. So it really depends on where, who, how, and when you play. You're going to watch some teams are going to get in that aren't in yet, and they're going to have high rankings because they haven't even participated yet. But once they put their foothold in, they're only going to take one tournament to get in, and
Hmm.
it's probably going to be fairly easy. So there will be others that on algorithm alone, based on where they were to begin the year, such as a Jags elite, is going to be helped a lot when they get into the one tournament they're probably going to do, in which they may probably win. So it's a long process. That's why there's only two or three. It's tough. It's not easy to do. I know I leave people hanging, but that's the fun of it, and I think it should be celebrated when kids are doing good. And really, it's not for the coaches; it's for the kids.
Yeah, and by the way, folks, he's volunteering with HSFAflag.com. He is not on the payroll. He is part of the family, but he is doing out of the goodness of his heart. So go easy on him. You can, if it's on the tackle side, yell at me all you want. Don't yell it. Don't yell at Curtis. But as we wrap up here, a couple of things I want to touch upon. We were talking earlier. Trish and I were in Indianapolis for the NFL football development with the stakeholders, and a lot of buzz there about going to Westfield, suburban Indiana, for
Uh,
Indianapolis for the NFL Flag Championships this year. I know you love that location. Talk about what Westfield and that location is going to do for the championships.
I was so excited to see that it went there. Now, as you know, I was fortunate to go to the Colts regional already in the
Mhm.
fall. Um, but prior to that, I've been to Hall of Fame Village and seen this. The biggest thing that's going to help is the parking, because the place is huge. The facility and the program, both are amazing, right? Hall of Fame Village is a wonderful place to have a football tournament. It's synonymous with football, and all the kids absolutely love it. But being at Westfield already and understanding how this is going to potentially be set up, there isn't a better place that they could have chosen, in my opinion. It's wide open. You're not in a city area. It's very, very open. It almost feels like it's in the middle of nowhere. But the fact of the matter is that when they set it up just for the regional, it already felt like a professional feel. It was
Nice.
already set up like a championship. I wouldn't have been able to tell you any different from that feel. And I think I alluded when I was speaking to Trish a couple of weeks ago that it is absolutely feels more like a professional feel now than it ever has before. I think all the tournaments are doing very well, but if there's a location that works perfect, Indianapolis is absolutely it. And really, you couldn't have picked a better spot anyway because Indianapolis is so well known for football, youth football, the combine, NFL, so on and so forth. So you couldn't have transitioned from another great football location to another great football location. And then keeping it location oriented is important too. You can't put it out in California where the weather might be most everybody can't get there. So it may be a long flight or a long drive for some, but the fact is there's more teams over in this area that's that's really essentially located and convenient as you could get it. Couldn't be happier with the location.
This one is one that I haven't really talked about, and it just kind of popped into my mind. I don't know, and I'm going to just kind of do some kind of hodgepodge here as we go out. Olympics, obviously, and the question comes to my mind about fives versus sevens, seven on versus five on, and all that. Any opinions on that? Most people don't even realize that there's different, numbers that are being played and all that. Everybody knows seven on seven, in the summer leagues with tackle and all that, and what they do there. But fives versus sevens, any opinion on that?
Personally, I think it should be fives.
Okay.
um, and I do, and I think even I think, well, let me take that back. I think it should be consistent. So if you're going to start them at fives, and then you're going to do the Olympics at fives, and then you're going to do high school at sevens, I don't like that it's not consistent.
Right.
Um, my preference, Jeff, is probably fives because that's what I've coached. I think if I put two more players on the field at a time, I'd have less people complain about playing time, and then I'd have a lot more to learn about two extra players on the field. So probably conveniently for me, I say fives. I could understand. I think there's a time and a place for seven on sevens, and you just said it. And seven on sevens is growing astronomically, by the way, because of flag. So
Hmm.
the seven on seven tournaments for boys, the seven on seven, that is becoming huge. And I hope that people understand that that's because of five on five flag. But at the level of moving it from youth to high school girls to Olympics, just keep it consistent. That's the only thing that I would ask.
Yeah, I think most people feel that way, and then the ones, that want to make sure we get more kids out there, it all comes into play. Again,
Well, and I'm
go ahead.
sorry, I don't mean to cut you up, but
It's your
it'll
show as much
also
as it's my show.
when you're trying to sanction sports now, the great thing for me and the bad thing is that I live in a state where it's not yet sanctioned as a girls high school sport, right? And it is very tough here in the state of Michigan. And one way for you to do it the right way would be to make it five on five, in my
Mhm.
opinion, because you will not worry so much about the cannibalization of other sports. You're not going to worry so much. And that's really the big concern, right? The volleyball coach doesn't want to lose her girl. The basketball coach doesn't want to lose their girl to another sport within the same school. If it's not creating more athletes, then it doesn't work for the other sports. So the way to possibly combat that is to limit it from 7 to 5 and maybe limit the rosters from 21 to 14, whatever you got to do, and then see if that can help. I don't know. I don't have all the answers,
It's an
but I
interesting
do
take. I
know
like
that
it.
it's very tough here in the state of Michigan because we just went over it 4 to 24 to whatever it's going to be this year, 61. Let's just say that it's in the 60s. Most of those are in Metro Detroit.
Okay.
So it's not even spread. So we have to do a better job. That's it. We got to figure out how to do it. It's just going to take some more work here. And I feel like we were closer at the beginning of this year than I do now, but I want to be positive. So
No, hey, I'm just throwing stuff at you. We did not have any questions written down, so you're doing a great job of expressing, your thoughts on it. Another hodgepodge here. Could have thrown this in earlier. But we're just going to do it. You're going to take part in two regionals. I think you told me before we started here, two of the NFL flag regionals, and I just want to have you talk about strategy. You touched upon it a little bit with the rankings and all that good stuff, but as a coach, a team that's trying to get to Westfield and all that. How does that come into play and figure out where you're going to go, how you're going to go, what you're going to do? Can you get there from there? Can you get there from here? That sort of thing.
I'm so happy you asked because this does bring up this is a great question. So, a couple of different things. We're going to do 12U in Detroit. My 12U team is very young. So it's NFL flag. Their tournaments are even divisions, right? 8U, 10U, 12U. My 12U is a bunch of in-betweeners, is what we call them, the tweener years. So we're going to stay local with that team, play in Detroit, and we'll do 12U as a stepping stone, learning stone, and we'll see if we can make some noise. I know we're very competitive. I know that we'll do exactly what we're supposed to do on the football field, but we understand that in that you're playing against a team who may have strategically put in a whole bunch of 13-year-olds that turned 13 after August 1st, and they played the age division correctly, so on and so forth. That's why we're doing Cleveland with the 10U. So I have my 10U team is a very, very strong 10U team who's all either 11 or 10. I don't have anybody that's not of age or has turned 11 since the age cutoff. That one, we understand that it's probably strategically better for us to not go when you have to compete against somebody like, let's say, the Toledo Dirty Birds, who we knew that they would be in some tournaments with their top teams early. So now we schedule our team to go to Cleveland, which is one of the last ones that we can qualify for. Strategically, and this is just being open and honest, like I always am, you put your team in after most of the teams are already qualified because once you're qualified, they're not playing again. So I am playing it as a strategy with my 10U to go play one of the latter tournaments after some of these other teams are already qualified. So,
I love
and
it.
we did. We when we were in Indianapolis, we got to see some of the first up competition, and they're good. They're very, very, very good teams. It's good all around. Now, as I said earlier, these tackle teams are coming back. So if you play in the Detroit one as a 10U or you play in some of the early ones as a 10U, you're going to see these teams start really kicking some butt real quick. So again, going to one of the later tournaments sometimes does help. So I have a strong enough 10U team, I believe, to compete in any tournament that we're in. But strategically, it makes sense for me to play Cleveland.
I love it. That's great. One word, Olympics. Little word association. Riff, Olympics.
I cannot wait. Uh, you want to see something special. This is going to be fun. I am so excited about where this is going to go. So I believe that the girls side is going to be the explosive side. I think that the men's portion of the Olympics is absolutely phenomenal in and of itself. That it's already kind of in its overtaking for the men's sports. This is going to be the number one sport for the women's side in the Olympics for 2028. It is going to grow the sport enormously. I think that coming up to the Olympics, you're going to watch the sport grow even more than it already has. I think that it is a root cause of what's happening already. Um, I can't wait. I just can't wait. I'm so excited. So excited.
What I miss? Did I not get anything in this interview? Do you have anything, any agenda that you wanted to, did I,
Man.
did I miss anything? And if I did, feel free to
So
take the last couple of minutes here.
yeah, I don't think you missed anything, but I do. If you're going to give me a few minutes, I do want to let everybody know how much I appreciate you and your time, your wife. You guys are such a lovely family. Hang on, you're not doing that. We're not getting off that easy. So you opened your door to me to be able to share stories in flag football, and I cannot thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough for your kindness. I can't thank you. Your Christmas card is still sitting in my windowsill. I there's there's a lot of people in this world that are callous and unaccepting. And you took a leap of faith with me. You gave me a shot to be able to share stories. I can't thank you enough for allowing me to just be involved in this. You keep saying volunteer. I don't even think this is something so fun for me that it's volunteer means that that I'm stressing out about it. This is nothing. This is one of the most fun things I've been able to do, and I can't thank you guys enough for allowing me to have this platform, just to share the stories of what I love.
Well, the feeling's mutual, and we should also thank your wife for for also giving up you a little bit to do. Sam, right? Samantha, correct?
Is correct. Yes,
Well,
yes. My lovely wife,
we
Sam.
thank her for sharing you with HSFAflag.com. But Curtis, this has been a lot of fun. It's you've I think people now will understand you when we first introduced you to the website, and the probably you're like, who, what, and what really matters to me in the storytelling that you're doing, whether it's the rankings or writing about the regionals, and I know we've expanded it in different areas, but the fact that you are literally on the ground coaching and involved with youth and all that, I think it gives a perspective that is hard to achieve for a media company, and for us to have you doing that makes from a business standpoint, it's great because we look bigger and better and smarter. But at the end of the day, it comes down to doing it the right way, and that is, promoting the sport, promoting the safety, the education aspect of it, and all that. You do a great job of that. So, thank you very much. And like I said earlier, looking for a long, long, and fruitful relationship with you. So, thank you right back.
Thank you, Jeff.
Uh,
Have an
uh,
excellent day.
yeah, we will. And I know you're probably going to go watch tournament time, a little March Madness and all that. But anyway, we appreciate it. We'll catch up soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Have a great rest of your day.